How goes the family? How goes it? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional night. Uh, so, I want to talk about being a brat. I want to talk about being spoiled. I want to talk about how you have a generation from mine on down. I'm a millennial, where it's just normal, perfectly normal to be not only a spoiled, entitled brat or whatnot, but you to be raised to think that society owes you something. And then when of course you do something stupid, people love to use an excuse of I had a single parent. Like newsflash, I grew up a single parent as well, and I never shot up a school. I never, hurt anybody. I never flipped out on people. Crazy things of that nature. So that's out the window. Um, life isn't fair. Well, 9 times out of 10, life isn't fair. You know, and I'm not talking about the recent shootings that have happened because those were horrific incidences, and I'm not even going to touch that. Like I said, I just give my condolences to the families. I leave it at that. But today, I did hear of a story of a person who was supposed to be getting off of probation, supposed to be, making, supposed to be doing better in life and whatnot. And unfortunately, this person had a horrific, incident, just lost their mother. And this is a person that didn't want to do right anyways, because I've seen many people who have, unfortunately gone through the prison system. You see it on these stories online, documentaries, friends from high school, members of your family go to jail, they come back and they become productive citizens, whether they own a business, whether they have, a job, whatever have you, or both, you know, they raise a family, they can become, you can, it's going to be harder, but you can still become a, decent member of society. But the biggest problem and pet peeve I have about this individual, which will remain nameless, is that they've been given many chances, and they live in a state where usually you don't get many chances, and they live in one of the states where it's one of the worst states to get in trouble in the whole country. But this individual still thinks that society owes them something. So I'm going to say to people that are in that position, I'm going to say to the young people, really talking to the young people, early 20s on down, remember that life, no one owes you anything. Remember that regardless how great your life is, as coming up, or how hard your life is coming up, you had both parents, didn't have any parent. I got a best friend of mine who both his parents were kind of jacked up. His dad was a little decent, mom was a crackhead, and he's doing great. Matter of fact, he's traveling the country doing fire restoration work and whatnot for insurance companies, things of that nature. You know, had a bad marriage. Didn't use that as an excuse. Didn't barely have his parents. Didn't use that as an excuse. Because at the end of the day, society doesn't care about your excuses. And to quote Ice Cube, he said, I remember it was him, George Lopez, and other people talking to people who were at-risk youth, and they were talking about how, hey, he's like, yeah, on TV I might make it look like being a gangster is cool and whatnot, but he's like, but I'm gonna tell you this: the state of California has plenty of beautiful places to house you, private and public, if you decide to get in trouble and whatnot and do wrong. And I'm saying to the youth now, it's not cool to be stupid. It's not cool to do stupid things and flip out and punch people for the sake of punching people. It's, defending yourself is one thing because everybody has a right to defend themselves if bodily harm on any level is coming at them. But when you constantly inflicting bodily harm on you, and you especially in today's world, get to live to tell the story, that says a lot right there. My mom said that is God blessing me. Um, but I will say with all sincerity that this the world owes you something nonsense. It's got to stop. Especially right now, it's like one of the worst. Like I actually feel I shouldn't feel, but I actually feel bad for people that are coming out of college and coming out of high school right now because of the way that the economy is in, the shape that the economy is in. Yeah, like even for the last 2 years, I felt bad for them. Even during the pandemic, the beginning, of the pandemic and whatnot, people couldn't go to the graduation. People had to leave school and whatnot. Feel bad, like I said, feel bad for a lot of the young people. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but I'm saying with all sincerity that young people, society does not owe you anything. And when I was your age, I thought, I know I'm getting up in age, but when I was younger, I thought, yeah, society owed me something. Society doesn't owe you anything. When you mess up and act a fool, you're just making it harder on yourself and making it harder for the people that love you, whether they're here or whether they're not. Because especially when you start messing up and if a loved one passed away, and I'm sure they're rolling over in their grave, looking down upon the person that is basically become a demon in itself because they want to act out. And in today's world, acting out can cost you your life, not even just your freedom, but it can cost you your life. There are people that have been killed for having a speeding ticket, or for selling a product without a license and whatnot. Um, so that's all I can say. I mean, heck, you see Young Thug, he got locked up for just claiming something because of specific lyrics and whatnot being quote unquote tied to a gang. So that's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, society doesn't owe you anything. You have to go out of not only your way to work hard, but you got to go out of your way to ensure that you're growing. I say it all the time. You evolve or you disappear. And people that want to act a fool and be brats and think that society owes them, and they think that it's going to be like people, I thought like 2007 and 8 was a bad time to be coming out of high school, coming out of college, coming out of the military. No, right now is one of the worst times because at least back then the cost of living wasn't as outrageous as it is now. At least back then the gas prices, even though they were insane, it didn't last this long. And at least back then, rents weren't as outrageous, and buying a property because the foreclosure rates were at a sky high weren't as outrageous and egregious. So at the end of the day, to the young people out there, you have no time to be acting a fool. You have no time to act like the world owes you something just because you want your freedom or whatnot. Because remember, freedom is earned, just like respect is earned. All right, freedom is earned. From an economic standpoint, from where you want to live standpoint, you're going to pay to play regardless of where you live at. Even if you're in prison, you're going to pay to play. Okay? Prison is one of the biggest businesses in the United States of America. You have prisons that are on the stock exchange, for God's sakes. So you're going to pay, regardless. In the U.S., you're going to pay to play. I don't care what the situation is. There's no escaping it. And that's why I'm doing the money filter right now. I mean, I can even see my pillow cases got Benjamin Franklin on it or whatnot. Because you're going to pay to play. Regardless of the situation. You're a parent, you're going to pay to play. You're married, you're in a relationship, you're going to pay to play. You have a business, you're going to pay to play. You have a job, you're going to pay to play. It's called gas, maintenance, transportation on any level. Even if you're working from home, obviously you're paying to living at home, utilizing internet service and whatnot. You're going to pay to play. You're in the military, you're going to pay to play. Any government job you get, you're going to pay to play. Corporate job, you're going to pay to play. They have good benefits, you're going to pay to play. There's no escaping that. Is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. But that's the way of the world. But what sickens me to no end is that people act like the world owes, a lot of people acting like the world owes them something in regards to, now if you're owed a debt, that's a different story. Like, let's say if you issue a loan out, or if you had labor, or if something horrific happened to you, then yeah, it's like that's what, insurance companies are for, other things. Like you have a lot of people that are owed specific debts. But I'm not going to get into that. What I am saying is you're not owed anything that you have not worked for in that regards. And if you're sitting online on, TikToking, Snapchatting, whatever, and just playing around for the sake of playing around, you're playing the game all wrong, family. And hey, you're talking to somebody that loves to play. I love to work, but I love to play. I love to have a good time. But I'm not going to act a fool if I don't get my way. And a lot of grown people want to act a fool because they don't get their way. Something to think about, all right? So do great three free things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. As I always say, make money moves or you're gonna live bro like a fool. Hopefully you guys are making doing great things out there. And have a great day.
Michael.